Hello, everyone. This is Dante Suave, United World of Sports, episode 34. And this is my co-host, Andrew, or Drew.
What's up, everybody?
So, as you can
Doing?
see, we're one person short. He had family obligations, but we definitely wish Mr. J well, and he'll be back in about
2 weeks, I think.
2 weeks.
Back in 2 weeks.
So
The show will be good again in 2 weeks.
Yeah, okay. All right. So first topic we're gonna do today is what I'd like to call ripped from the headlines. Over the weekend, I saw something that I felt would be okay to talk about, especially seeing that all the vilification that he had to endure when he decided to make a decision that ended up affecting his career. So to look and see him in the headlines and see something positive, and even it was even talked about that social media gave him a positive reaction. I felt it was definitely
We're about to talk about LeBron James.
We are not about to talk about LeBron James.
Oh,
like you said, you wanted to be surprised, and trust me, I think you're gonna be. The person that I want to talk about is Colin Kaepernick.
okay.
So, apparently, online, he got an outpouring of congratulations. He just married his girlfriend of 10 years.
Okay.
So, and apparently her name is Nessa Diab or Job, Diab. She's a radio personality. So and they just I'm sorry, they didn't just get married. They just had their first child.
Oh, even better. That's great. Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. So and of course his wife talked about how she was kind of apprehensive about putting the news out there, obviously because you know she's in radio, and I know she pays attention to social media, so I can understand her going, do I want to put that me and him just had a kid and worry about what the reception's going to be.
Sure.
um
I get that. I totally understand. My thing with Colin Kaepernick is it's not that I care, like not necessarily that what he did or didn't do or anything like that. Like kneeling for it, whatever was I did I agree with it? No, but it doesn't matter what I agree with, what I disagree with. He has the right to say things. In the NFL, being a private enterprise, has the right to do things, right? So
yeah.
that's that. It's neither here nor there. What I think is irrelevant. If he's good enough to play professional football and a team wants him, then sign him. That's the way I look at it. Everything else is whatever. What happens between the NFL and him, and the owners and him, and everything else. That's up for if he's going to sue him, it's up for the courts to decide. If the NFL brass sees that teams did something wrong, it's them to do something to the ownership, and then let us know the facts.
Yeah, they already covered that
stuff that goes in, and then we can make a decision. Her decision to go, well, I don't want these whack jobs who can't understand and distinguish what he says, what he does from me and my child and our child, not my child, their child. You know what I mean? Like, if you can't distinguish the fact that it's an innocent child and it has nothing to do with what their parents do or don't do, then you're living in fantasy land, and you need to get off the internet and go touch some grass. There's things to go do out there, and I get her apprehension, and it's not an easy decision. I don't know if she made the right or wrong decision, but I get her apprehension absolutely, because there are some weird people out there that are going to come and attack her for having a traitor's baby, or you know what I mean? Like, there's so many stupid things people are gonna say.
Yeah, and so what he did, I knew it wasn't going to go well. So everything that happened, I knew was going to happen.
Sure.
Um, I just and I hate the hypocrisy of the First Amendment. Um, you have a right to say whatever you want unless people don't want to talk about it, or they can find an excuse to say that you did it for another reason, just so they don't have to acknowledge what you actually what you actually said or did your action for.
Sure.
Um,
It depends on it. It really just depends on where you're saying it. So the NFL being a private enterprise is where I think a lot of people are having the
the
first speech amendment, First Amendment, things like that.
well, uh, okay. So so I'll give you an example. You brought up LeBron James.
Huh?
Uh, I, People are always pissing and moaning that the athletes, they've been doing it for years, that the athletes, they don't stand for anything.
Huh?
But as soon as somebody from my community speaks on something of that ilk, the first thing that comes out of everybody's mouth is just shut up and play football. Just shut up and play baseball. Just shut up and play basketball. So you can stand up for something,
Sure.
but you better make sure that everybody's okay with hearing it. The NFL protected their shield. I get why they did what they did. Again, as soon as he did it, my mind instantly went back through history. Bro, this is not going to go well for you. Look at
As soon as it was filmed and noticed,
yeah,
that's when he had the problem. When he got filmed and noticed, and then when he was asked about it, and then he started talking about it in, and a lot of people will tell you it was the wrong place, the wrong time. While kneeling for the anthem wasn't
but
necessary,
but
and
there
it
is
was
no
that
right time.
thing that blew up on him, and he didn't have the media training to be able to get his message clearly out and explain it in a way, and he got trampled.
That ain't it.
Sure.
I'm telling you, that's not it. Nobody wants to talk about this. Nobody wants to cover it. LeBron, I heard somebody. I was standing in public, and LeBron had just he did an article.
Okay.
This wasn't like one of his moments where he said it after a game.
Sure.
If you say it in an article where you in an interview and you weren't and it wasn't at the game, bottom line, people don't want to talk about it because one, it could be any number of reasons, and I'll go over a few of them. One, it's going to spark an argument. Two, people are tired of being vilified for something that they don't stand for. And just those reasons alone, they're totally valid. I get it, but here's the problem. You got people doing stupid things. Now it's getting caught on camera, and people still aren't getting convicted. How do you put a body cam on somebody and they're still doing what they've been said to do before? And just so you don't have to acknowledge it, you go, yeah, but it don't happen that often. Oh, so because your kid doesn't have to worry about it, you don't have to worry about it. It's not that big of a deal. Well, whoa, 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 whoa. That's not what I'm saying. Did you hear the words that just came out of your mouth? You didn't. That's why they say think before you speak.
Sure.
That's why that's always been there. Think before you speak, because you will open your mouth and not only insert foot, but you might incite a riot.
Right. But don't you
And
think it also goes the other direction as well, where these superstar athletes vilify an entire group of people, and then that turns on them?
oh, in terms of vilification,
Yeah.
and
Vilify an entire
stereotyping
group. You vilify
and
an entire profession, and now you have really bad, really bad
but
politicians and
but that's
and
how it
their
always is.
stuff coming out, like defunding the police, and
But
it
that's how it
doesn't
all.
work.
But that's how it always is, though.
What do you mean?
Just like the people in jail, they
Huh?
don't they don't talk about them specifically. They just mention the word black, and what happens then? Every single person. Not saying that. Not saying that every white person does it. Not saying that every African does it. Not saying that every Hispanic does it. Not saying you get that part of the point. But
Right.
it gets blanketed. That's how everything is. That's how it's always. That's how it is always been. Even if that's not exactly what was meant. Now, obviously, if they talk about police brutality, if you know that you're not one of those cops, they're not. Then you know they're not talking about you.
Yes, but the
Now,
public reaction to you is the same regardless. They see police and they see that you're a police officer, so they're automatically afraid of you and they're automatically going to assign you things that have nothing to do with you.
welcome to the
When
club.
all they're doing is listening to those broad statements.
Welcome to the club.
I understand. I'm not saying that it's
It,
fair.
it,
What
it,
I'm saying
it's it,
is that
that
doesn't solve the problem.
just like we're at fault for not calling our people out that are doing the things that have people afraid.
Sure.
They're at fault, and they're supposed to be on a different level above us. So they should be even more accountable to go, yeah, you got to go to jail.
Yeah, I think that finding your good actors inside of the police departments and inside of your public servants are where you're going to see the progress made, is when you make them the example and you say, hey, this is your standard that we're going to hold you to, and if you don't meet that standard, then you no longer can do this job. I'm sorry, you got to go.
But you can't do
And
that
whatever it is.
and protect. You can't do that and yet protect
True.
everybody.
Right, exactly. You're not gonna save everybody's job if they're not hitting that quota. And I agree that if you can't take a hard look at what all of your officers are doing across your entire city, across your state, across your county, whatever you're in charge of, and say, hey, every single one of them meets this standard across the board, regardless of what that is, in morals, in finances, in you know, marksmanship, health, whatever it's going to be, then if they're falling short, you have to have something that says, okay, well, we're doing stuff that'll bring them up. Okay, how long do you give them? Oh, we're going to give them 6 months. Okay, great. We're going to test them again. If they're not there, okay, well then they're no longer allowed to be police officers. Sorry, but that's just what's going to happen. Not everybody gets to do that job, just like not everybody gets to be an NBA player or an NFL
Right.
player or a Major League Baseball player or anything else.
And if you
sometimes just don't get a chance to do the job you really want to do. That's just what it is. And I agree.
And what makes it worse is the ones that end up in like the major trouble. You start looking at their background. It's not the first time.
Right.
It's been happening for a while, and it's like, what? Okay, you can't explain this away, and then the only reason you put them in court is because people start acting up, and you don't want them to riot, so you put them in court, but then they end up getting off, and it's like, but yet you want to dictate and control how people verbally react. This again goes back to the conversation about freedom of speech.
Right.
So because you don't like what's being said, you're not doing anything about it.
But freedom of speech, while it's a protected right for certain things in certain areas for all Americans, it doesn't protect you against repercussions from depending on where you do it. So, for instance, let's say I'm on here and I'm wearing my work shirt, right?
Right.
You don't blur the logo, and I mention, hey, I work at this place, and I, and all of these things. Now I'm representing the company. I'm representing their logo, and whatever I'm saying is what they're saying, and I become their mouthpiece, and then that's not protected because they can come back and they can sue me, they can fire me, they can do all kinds of things to me because I'm representing their brand. Same thing that happens with Colin Kaepernick. Same thing. He stood on the podium. He was in the NFL. He was on the Shield. That's the way that it goes. He was representing the NFL when he spoke. He was representing the 49ers and himself, and he spoke as a representative of those things because of where he was. Had he just had an interview, not wearing NFL gear, not at the 49ers facility, not anywhere like that, out on the street, or he has his own private press conference somewhere, right? That he invites people to. That is just, hey, I'm just Colin Kaepernick having a press conference at this hotel. I'm not affiliated with the NFL. I'm not affiliated with the 49ers. I'm holding this press conference about this, and I'm inviting you guys here to talk about this and the reason that you saw me kneel, and I'm going to address all of that. Then he's a private citizen holding a press conference about a public event. And his words
representing the NFL, though.
Not when he does the press conference. He does the press conference, he's representing himself. He doesn't have anything to do with the NFL when he's representing himself, speaking about himself and only himself, because he doesn't have the NFL logo on. He doesn't have the 49ers logo anywhere. He is himself by himself, setting a press conference and doing it himself. That's how.
You know what?
Why he got in trouble.
You know what? You know what? Well, he got in trouble because they didn't want to lose money. If we're being honest.
Well, I think a lot of people got real mad about it. Absolutely.
People were in an uproar and they were fighting each other. And then once again, all of a sudden, the First Amendment is not the First Amendment, and the First Amendment is only the First Amendment when everybody's okay with what you're talking about. And the sad part about that is that's the way it's always been. First Amendment is about protecting the speech you don't like, not about protecting the speech you do like. It's all about protecting the speech you don't like. All that speech that you don't like and you hate and you think should be abolished, and nobody should be able to say that. That's the stuff that should be protected above all else, because that means that you're free. And technically, it wasn't. So you could come up.
Where was it? I mean, it was. He wasn't punished. He wasn't thrown in jail for speaking. He lost his job because the NFL is allowed to do that because he's representing the NFL.
Well, no, they
spoke on the podium.
They weren't supposed to do that. They weren't supposed to do what they did. That's why they ended up having to pay him money. So
who paid him money?
The NFL. And it almost got Robert Kraft destroyed.
How much money did they pay him?
No. Let me rephrase. Him opening the door to Colin coming to the Patriots almost got him destroyed. But he actually was pivotal in the money that Colin Kaepernick got from the NFL. He was pivotal in that. He was behind that. And then he turned around when nobody was willing to pick him up still. He opened the door to him coming to the Patriots, and then all of a sudden he was accused of sex trafficking and doing stuff in a massage parlor down in Florida. But the lawyer's evidence was, well, we don't have him doing anything with any of the massage people, but we do have him on camera going into the massage parlor. I looked at my television like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? And then some time went by. You didn't hear nothing else about it. And all of a sudden, enough time it went by where it was clear Colin Kaepernick was not coming to the Patriots. Then the same lawyer comes out, and it's reported to ESPN, oh, they're dropping the case due to lack of evidence. I knew when you went on national television and you said that all you had on him was him walking into the massage parlor, you didn't have evidence.
So Colin Kaepernick and Eric Reed settled with the NFL, each getting paid between both of them less than $10 million.
Yeah.
on their grievance.
Yeah.
So, and they, the collusion grievance. So, I'm not saying that there's smoking gun, but if you have that much evidence in your favor going towards collusion and, you know, this blackballing is blacklisting from the NFL, don't you think you would have stuck with it a little bit further than receiving less than $10 million when your potential payouts in the hundreds of millions of dollars? So I'm not saying that what they accused him of is something that he did, but there's something there that he didn't want coming out, or Eric Reed. It could have been one or the other. Had something that was going to come out that was going to damage them, and they settled for an undisclosed amount of money that was less than $10 million. So
They just they wanted it done.
I understand, but if you're what incentive as Colin Kaepernick and Eric Reed do you have to settle for a tenth of the money that you could have potentially made?
How much money would he have lost but by the time he got that money?
I mean, does it matter?
Yes, that's usually why people settle, because it's not good. Because if you're going to lose more money by the time,
so is it about money? Is it about money? About football? About principle?
Well, the NFL was punished for because Robert Kraft helped him to prove that there was a collusion, and teams were intentionally not looking at him at for potential employment.
Okay. They look at a lot of people not for potential employment. It doesn't prove collusion. You have to show. I mean, collusion's hard to prove.
And they were able to prove it. That's why they settled.
I don't know, man. That's an awful lot of money that they would have left on the table. For less than 10, they're taking less than $10 million in the settlement when they can prove collusion. You're probably making hundreds of millions of dollars if you're able to prove collusion. It's a lot. That's really, really that is a really hard thing to do. You have to have an agreement that you can prove that all of the ownership got together.
Whatever it was, while I get what you're saying, whatever it was, bottom line, it was proven. Because if it because
it wasn't proven.
Why wasn't it proven?
Where was it proven? They don't have anything about how is collusion proven.
While they didn't go into detail, the one thing that they did say was Robert Kraft was able to help him prove. So and they never went into detail as to how. They just said that was it, and that's why it was settled. So unfortunately, that particular question I can't answer, but I do know that the story around that situation when he got the money was Robert Kraft helped him prove collusion, and the NFL settled. They didn't go into detail. They didn't say specifics. It was just boom, there it is. And then Kaepernick got vilified again because people felt he sold out for money. And then once that died down, things kind of went away for a bit. And then him and Michael Orr came out the woodwork, basically saying that their parents had done them wrong, had taken money from them, and they were racist. And I think Michael Orr came out first. No, it might be the other way around. I don't remember. Bottom line, they both did it. It was weird. And then when Colin came out going against his parents, that kind of made people look at him sideways and vilified him again. So that's why I'm bringing up this article, because hey, Colin Kaepernick's in the news, and it's not something negative. Yay!
It's wonder. No, I'm very happy for him. Congratulations. I hope that their marriage and their life is nothing but happy and easygoing, and they're all healthy and going on. Like I really do. Like it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Having kids is awesome, man. I love it. I love being a dad. So that's awesome. Did he have? Was it a boy or girl?
Um, let's see. Scroll back up, scroll back up. It they have one child together. It does not say. It just
You know what I'm
says
saying?
says
Oh, that's
it,
great though. Well, that's good though. I mean, he's a dad. That's awesome. Is this his first?
yes.
Awesome, man. That's great.
So
All right. So what's your favorite memory about being a dad for the first time?
um honestly,
Do you remember it?
no, I remember it. It just I think my best memory was actually me being tortured by my kid.
Yeah. It's
And
awesome. Isn't it?
and because he was a blocker, if you will.
Okay.
Like if he was a blocker from sleep and he was a blocker from other things.
I got you, man.
And so it was like
But for the kids in the back, why don't you explain it to them?
no the sleep part simple. The sleep part simple.
Yeah.
Every time
Oh, wait, the other part.
I would go to lay down and my ear would barely touch the pillow and he would start crying. So I literally spent a lot of nights. I was not allowed to go to sleep until like 5 a.m. I had to sit by him or he was gonna have a fit. So I had to sit by him. So I ended up getting really good at Super Tecmo Bowl. And
There you go.
yeah, hours and hours and hours of Super Tecmo Bowl
Who's
until
your
I was
team in
eight.
tech? Who's your team?
Actually, I had actually, if I'm not mistaken, I had taken all of them, but the Lions, the Raiders, the Giants, those were my main ones that I liked to take. Um, and I think I took the Bills a couple of times, even though I couldn't stand them at the time. I I yeah, but I think I had systematically gone through like the whole game and like taking every team at least once. So
Nice.
but yeah, the Giants because of LT and Dave Maggett and Phil Sims and Mark Ingram and Everson Walls and Carl Banks. Carl Banks actually went to a high school that I went to uh when I was a foster kid. So Northwestern up in Flint, Michigan.
Okay.
And I also had gym class with Morris Peterson. He ended up he ended up going to Michigan State and he ended up getting drafted to the Raptors.
Nice.
Um
Cool.
so but yeah, he loved me for competition because like me and him were like the top we were me him and a couple of others we were like the top five in our gym class in terms of if you want to win if you want to win the game you must have us on your team. And so he got to looking at me and he felt like I was competition. I hated him because I hated he was left-handed when he shot. And I could never and he had this turnaround jumper and I could never get to him. It part of it
So
was I was
the
so
reason he
used
got drafted, is that what you're saying?
yeah, he ended up getting drafted to
That was because of you
the Raptors.
made it
No,
better.
well, it was
You
because
made it what
of him in general. It was because of his talent in general. But it was fun to
oh, stop being modest. Stop being modest. Just
it
take
was
it. Be like, no,
fun
no,
to
no.
play
That guy
against
made
him.
it because of me.
And no, the thing I hated about him was he would not at least once let us play on the same team. They would be every you had the two captains and they'd be picking people and I'd see him and every time I try to get behind him or get next to him, he go, oh no. And he'd go somewhere else. He's like, no, I do not hey, somebody else pick him. I want him to be the opponent. And I'm like, oh, Jesus. It's like,
You
okay,
put a
all
win
right.
once, man.
That's what I was saying. I'm like, dude, we could be on the same team at least once. He's like, no, 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 man. I, I, I like playing you. It's like, oh, it's like, all right.
There you
It,
go.
it, it, it was an honor, but at the same time, it was kind of like, dude, can I take a little bit of a day off a little bit? Let us both be let us have our LeBron moment, two stars on the same team. Uh, but
You're not
but
that young. Wouldn't have had your LeBron moment in high school.
well, yeah,
No.
it just would have been in high school. Me and him
Yeah, but
was
back then you would have been like, you know, would have been like, Jordan Pippen kind of thing. Or how old are you? I mean, you're probably way older than that too. How old are you?
48.
You're like 70, are you?
I'm 48. Nowhere near 70, thank you. Um,
Feels like it some days, doesn't it?
yeah, I gotta figure out a way to get rid of this midriff because that's the part that makes me feel old,
That's why
especially
I
when
should gear up, man.
especially when I try to go for a run. But with that, we're gonna move on to our second topic, and
All right.
that's Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons. Micah
Good old Mr.
Parsons.
Parsons.
Micah Parsons.
Uh, Mike Parsons
So
wasn't out of Jerry World, huh?
yeah, he wants out of Jerry World, and you
Don't
know
blame him.
what? I, this power trip that Jerry gets on, although I see both sides of it, I really do. I see both sides of it.
Yeah.
How long
Me
has it
too.
been since? How long has it been since they've been to the Super Bowl?
30 years.
How many players that have wanted to bag have they paid over that 30 years? They paid. They
The only
paid a.
one that I really cared about them paying and being bad and them going and them I think jumping the gun on it was Dak, because of how much they paid him.
I
And
feel
it's
like
not
somebody
necessarily
talked him
that.
into that. Somebody
What's that?
talked him in.
I think
Somebody.
so too. I think social pressure got to him. As much as Jerry wants to tell you that he doesn't care, he cares. He cares
Right.
very much. And
Right.
and there's certain things. And Dak Prescott is one of those things that he went, oh, I don't want to be the guy that runs my good enough quarterback out of town, and we don't have anything, and we're bringing in terrible free agents, old free agents that just
There
because think
there
about it.
weren't.
Think about the Colts, right? Think about the Indianapolis Colts, right?
Okay.
They Andrew Luck retires, right? After just getting the crap kicked out of him,
Yeah.
right? And so what do they do? Matt Ryan, Philip Rivers, that could have been the Cowboys had they not signed Dak Prescott. And I think that's what he was afraid of, was going,
There was
I
nothing
don't see
available.
a good landscape of free agents coming about that I want, that I'm excited about. And I have this really serviceable guy who can play well.
He's
So
Tony
I'm
Romo with scrambling ability. I'm sorry. He's
what's
Tony
that?
Romo with scrambling ability.
Sure,
And
serviceable. He's good
and
enough.
and and not as many fourth quarter comebacks.
That, and he also doesn't date. He didn't date Jessica Simpson either. So there was that. You know, that
Hey,
helped
I'm
out.
sorry. I would have taken thick Jessica Simpson. I'm just putting it out there.
No,
because
I'm not. Yeah, me too. I'm not.
everybody else was like,
Uh,
"What?" And I'm like, "Yummy." She
yeah,
was
no,
too skinny before. I'm sorry, she was too skinny. It's okay to be. I'm not saying that it's not okay to be skinny, but when you're almost looking skeleton, when I can compare you to a mic stand, that's too small.
when you disappear, when you turn sideways behind the mic.
Right. So here's the thing. Micah Micah needs to understand his level
Yes.
because
Well, okay. Where is Mike's level when it comes
as good
to?
as he is not the following people. He is not Chris Jones. He is not Miles Garrett. He is not Crosby. He is not Aiden Hutchinson. That if you take them off the field, even with the rest of the players that you got, it's going downhill. He's not
I
that.
I think
Not
he's a
just and
I
and
think,
and I'm not saying that he don't deserve to get paid. He deserves to get paid. But
I think he is
this
getting paid.
did,
How
did
much?
something change? Did something change since this morning?
I mean, how much does he get paid right
No, I mean new contract pay.
now?
He
Okay.
wants to be on Myles Garrett, the new he wants to be up there. But here's the problem. One, everybody needs to pump the brakes on him being disrespectful when he pointed out the whole contract and hurt thing. That was about Dak.
Yeah.
And everybody tried to say that Jerry was being disrespectful to him. No, he was making a point. You guys swore up and down that I needed to pay Dak. You swore up and down that I needed to pay CD.
Yep.
I paid both of them,
That hurt.
and then I had to wait. No, I take that back. CD and Trent Rich. No, not Trent Richardson. Trent, offensive lineman for the 49ers.
Uh, Trent Williams.
Trent Williams. Yeah, thank you. Trent Williams. Uh, those were the only two that held out for a contract that showed up week one.
Yep.
But here's the problem. You paid Dak. Injuries happen. I get it. But this is the second time Dak got paid. And now there's another reason why he's not in the playoffs or
Sure.
only when winning or only getting to the wild card game and not going any farther. Now there's another reason, and now we got another person that wants money, deserves money, and everybody's saying pay him the bag. But they got a whole bunch of holes, and you know how I am about fixing everything. We talk about this when we talk about the Bengals, right? If
Right.
he gets paid, just like with Trey, he gets paid. Is that fixing the is that alleviating? Is that making the defense look better enough for them to go deep into the playoffs? Is that fixing it so that they can finally get to an NFC championship game? The answer is no. So now Jerry's digging in his heels. He told
Right.
everybody last year that he was all in, but what he actually meant and he should have stuck to his guns last year. What he actually meant was because there's two ways to be all in. You could be all in terms of, hey, I'm gonna get every player I can get, and I'm gonna pay him money, and we're gonna get him in. Or the other all in, which is the big, which is usually what businesses mean when they say all in. I'm about to give everybody a certain amount of time, and I better get what I want out of this, or people got to go.
Right.
But that's why I said I feel like somebody talked Jerry into signing them to, because if you remember, after the first game where Cooper Rush played, I don't know if you saw the soundbite of the interview, but Jerry basically admitted he basically was like, well, Cooper Rush played as good as Dak did before he got hurt. And
Yeah.
then he kind of hinted at the fact that he actually never wanted to pay Dak.
Nope. Probably not.
And that told me that I was right in my position of what he actually meant when he said he was all in. So now you got a third guy. Is this gonna get me closer to a championship? If this is not gonna get me closer to a championship, I don't want to talk to your agent. I'm taking control of my situation back. Me and you had an agreement. You saw it. I'm not saying that he's right, because if the guy has representation, Jerry, talk to him. You may not want to do it, but talk to him. If Michael was cool with the contract, I get what Jerry's worried about though. Jerry's worried about the guy looking in, even though him and Micah had an agreement, looking at the contract and then looking at Micah and going, you could get more on this, right?
Well,
that's an agent's job.
it's the evaluation. So what's the evaluation of Micah Parsons? Is he top tier Myles Garrett money player or not? Yes or no? Is he as good as Myles Garrett? Is he a game
No,
player like Myles Garrett?
no.
Okay, so he doesn't deserve Myles Garrett money. Is he a next tier down, can be a great asset if he's in the right situation player?
I would go for that one. Yeah.
Me too. So that to me says you're a role player. You are a great role player, but you're a role player. You have a role that I need you to play, and you play it very, very well. And I'm not saying that you're going to get $3, $5, $10 million a year. You know, so maybe you're on the top end of the role player money, but you're still on role player money. He's making a little under $5 million this year on his base salary.
Mm-hmm.
And he signed through 2025. I'm sorry, I'm going to side with, Mad Dog Russo, and I sent you this about Trey Hendrickson, and I mean this about everybody. You're under a contract, play on your contract. I understand that you want more money, and that's fine, but they're not. If the ownership and the team doesn't like your play, they can't not pay you. You showed up. You went to work, they got to pay you, right? Regardless if they like it or not, they got to pay you because that's your contract. You don't give them money back when you play like crap. Just like Russo, like Russo says, you play like crap. You're not giving the team money back, right?
Right.
You're not. You're demanding more, and you think that you can sit out.
And
you can't. You signed a contract. On your contract, go play. You don't like it, do what you did. Okay, fine. Ask for a trade. That's fine. But show up and prove that you're still worth anything by showing up.
And here's another thing, because I noticed that I noticed that a lot of the players that do this, they do this. Why do you sit up here and sign a contract that's top heavy so you can complain and be a distraction?
You sign a 5-year contract that you get all your money up front and a signing bonus, and then you turn around and 3 years later you go, well, they're not paying me enough. So, well, they paid you $140 million your first year. They gave you all your money up front. What'd you do with it? Where's all that money?
And that's why I said
$5 million on year 5 not worth it.
They should spread. They should be expected to, whatever their contract that they agree to is, spread it out over the years of their contract. That way, you ain't hearing this, and if you shouldn't be hearing this.
Well, that's why I pay it out as a signing bonus. You have to pay it all out at once because that's a signing bonus and not part of their contract. Is as soon as you extend it out past at the length of their contract, then it becomes part of their contract and counts against your salary cap. And that's why you have a problem. That's why you're having these issues now with, like, if you look at the Bengals, right? All their money is starting to come due, and you're going to start paying 3 guys like 35% of your cap space.
Yeah. They come due every year.
I take some of those chunks and pay you up front because the NFL doesn't believe in deferment like the MLB does. The MLB can defer your money if you agree to it and pay you like Bobby Bonilla for 35, 40 years after you're done.
Yeah. Even show
million, okay? Like,
yeah, even Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, Ken Griffey Jr. There's a ton of players that have done it. If the NFL had that, you don't think that the 49ers and the Raiders and the Cowboys and you don't think the Cowboys would be the Yankees and the Dodgers? They would be paying their guys, and you would have the most stacked NFL team, even for backups. Your backups would be, starters everywhere else if they could defer payments, because Dallas would just finance their rear ends off and get everybody they needed. I'll pay you from now for another 30 years. I'll pay you $5 million for the next 30 years if you come and play. Like, I mean that's money security, man. Plus I'm going to pay you $100 up front as a signing bonus. Like,
well, here's the other here's the other issue with it.
To play his contract out, leave in free agency. You have an agent who apparently is good at negotiating that you trust, which is great. I'm glad they have that. You go out in your free agency year or forfeit your year now, all of your game checks and everything, sit out the year, and go into free agency next year. Those are your options. I'm sorry. If you're going to, those are your two options. You don't really get another option besides playing for the Dallas Cowboys or sitting out and going into free agency. Those are your two options. You can either become a Le'Veon Bell and roll your dice on hoping that you can come back and be effective, not just get money, but come back, be effective, and play for the next team and be good. Or you can play this year, earn your $5 million plus whatever incentives you can, show out and prove that, hey, maybe this year he does get into claw his way into that bottom top tier where he's making darn close to Myles Garrett money. Who knows? Can't do that on the sidelines though. You can't do that at home.
And that's why I don't like that next man up thing, because as we've talked about, I feel like that's what hurts the Bengals' ability to keep players, not to mention their lack of scouting department. Same thing with the Cowboys, their lack of scouting department and having a GM, having an actual GM, because as like we talked about last week, as much as we want to talk about Philly, here's the thing that people fail to understand. Their scouting department is awesome. They don't have to keep the good guys on their defense. They don't. They have a good year with them, and then if their contract comes up and they want a lot of money, just like every other team, they cut them. But the thing is they do so well at scouting that literally next man up is if he's not just as good as soon as he touches the field, he's going to start looking good over the weeks, the longer he plays as a starter.
If you keep your coaching consistent and and that's the thing is, who picks the coaching staff, right? Because it's not always the head coach. Head coach doesn't pick all their coaching staff.
Right.
Head coach inherits a lot of guys. He might be able to pick a few pieces here and there, but most of his, coaches that are underneath of him, he didn't pick. Now some give full autonomy to the coaching staff and lets that head coach go and hire whoever he wants, right? Pending interviews, background checks, and all that kind of stuff. The Bengals are not one of those teams. Zach Taylor walked in and he had I think he had a pick of 2 or 3 guys for defensive coordinator, and then picked his offensive coordinator to work with. And that was about it. Everybody else was either already there or when they chose their defensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator already had coaches ready to go.
Which is ridiculous and that would be another reason why they can't get certain coaches, because usually certain coaches, when they walk in the door, they're bringing their team or they ain't coming.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. And so, if you get a defensive coordinator in, right? Well, that's the other thing is Zach Taylor wasn't an offensive coordinator when he got this job. He was a quarterback's coach. He was Sean McVay's quarterback coach when he got the head coaching job here.
Right.
So it was, he probably had some coordinator experience. Maybe he even had some head coaching experience in lower levels in college, high school, whatever it was. And then he took the quarterback's coach job with McVay and, and learned from him and all that kind of thing. And, Sean McVay, I believe, is one of those guys that hired all of his staff top down. And then, and then people started plucking off his tree, right? Well, if you're a quarterback's coach getting your first head coaching gig, the number of people that are slim, right? I mean, think about it. Like Sean McVay being take Sean Payton, right? Sean Payton's a better example, right?
Yeah.
When he was his first year head coach, the chances of him knowing as many coordinators and quarterbacks coaches and all that kind of stuff wasn't real high, right? But as he grew, year 3, year 5, well, now he's going to go, well, I don't want this staff anymore. I don't like the way this staff is working. I'm going to replace them all. And he starts pulling guys and he goes, hey, who do you like? Hey, defensive coordinator, who do you like as your linebackers coach? Who do we have as a special teams coach? Who do you guys know? And then he gets to know people. Now He gets sacked in New Orleans, right? And his whole staff goes with him. Well, now he's in Denver. Okay, who are you gonna call? Now he has this book of guys that he can call. Say, hey, I'm now coaching in Denver. Why don't you come up and be my linebacker coach? Why don't you come up and be my special teams coordinator? And he has those guys that he can call. When Zach Taylor came into Cincinnati, his black book was probably thinner than a piece of paper, and he didn't have anybody to call. So he relied on the Bengals to have that scouting done for him. So, maybe he knew who he was coordinator, and maybe he went, oh, I really like the way this guy runs defense, and I like to play, you guys play a 4-3 or whatever, 3-4, whatever they play. I think they play a 4-3. But and I know that this guy runs a good 4-3. I'd like to have him. These are the schemes, who do you get along with, that kind of thing. But the Bengals brought everybody in for him to interview and talk to and hire. So that was a Bengals chose most of his coaching staff, at least the first round of his coaching staff. He might have gone through them all, and now that he's hiring new coordinators, stuff like that, he might be the guy picking him.
Yeah. But bottom line, Jerry needs to at least be talking to his agent. And that is the part where while I get while I get that he's Jerry Jones and that's his team, at the same time you got to at least make it look correct, and
Why does he have to make anything look correct? He signed a contract. It's not a contract. It's fine, but you still got to play under it. If you don't want to play under it, fine. Go sit out. I don't have to pay you. That frees my roster spot open, and I can go get somebody else. Don't hold my team hostage and expect me to do right by you.
Which is why he's which is another reason why he's digging in his heels. And,
right.
And
you're holding the team hostage, and that's not a good way to go. That's not a good business, man. Just like, and I'm going to say that about anybody. I don't care what position you play. Hold the hostage because you want more money, and that's fine if you think you deserve it. All the pundits believe you deserve it, and you think you've outplayed your contract. Fine. But you can't hold your team hostage because you don't like your pay. Either play under your contract and get paid, or sit out, not get paid, and go to free agency. Pick one.
The teams that suffer through that the most, correct me if I'm wrong, the teams that suffer through that the most, they don't see a lot of the playoffs. They definitely don't see a lot of the deep into the playoffs.
Right. What position does Micah Parsons play?
Linebacker, right?
Right. So what when you're playing linebacker and when you're in the season, right? Especially now that they're playing 17 games, right?
Right.
What happens to your defensive players? They rotate during the game, right? They'll come out, fresh ones will go in, back and forth, depending on coverage and all those kind of things, and you get spelled, right?
Yeah. Micah
Parsons holds out, doesn't play. They don't get that roster spot. They don't magically appear a 53rd or 54th man just magically appears. They can just go get somebody so his roster spot can get filled, and they'll go put somebody else that can spell. That's just one more guy down that they don't have for that rotation. So now it's going to add up. Those downs are going to add up towards the end of the year. And like you said, now you're missing a key piece that your second and third best linebackers or your down linemen now, right, won't get the penetration and the pressure on the quarterback that they might have gotten by your presence being there. Micah Parsons being there, you have to account for him. That means you can't key on your D tackle, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, you can't key on the D tackle. He might have just enough skill to get past your lineman, get past your guard, and get to the quarterback once or twice a game. Okay, great. Well, now that Micah Parsons not there, and you have some, second or third year practice squad guy, well, Stiff Breeze is going to blow that guy over. I can key on your defensive tackle. I'll make sure he doesn't get to the quarterback. We're going to make you beat us with your third string linebacker. Right? I mean, right. That's what missing Micah Parsons does. I'm not saying that second or third stringer is not talented. It doesn't belong in the NFL. What I am saying is he's not Micah Parsons.
And usually the way that plays out, usually the way that the reason why that is I'm gonna say this piece and then we're gonna move on to the next topic.
Love it.
Um, uh, is because the longer you kind of chill on the sidelines, you become complacent, and you're even if you're watching the game, you're not fully dialed in because you're not expecting to go in. And human nature, the longer you just kind of just
Chill.
chilling,
Yeah.
you do become complacent, and I
I mean,
feel that
come
that's what hurts those that's what hurts those guys over on the sideline when somebody gets hurt and they have to go in, and now all of a sudden you're having to play at a high level when you spent most of your time not only not physically playing high level, you haven't even been thinking about playing high level. So it's like you watching the game, you
yeah.
watching it more as a fan than you are as a, oh man, I'm gonna watch, I'm gonna see what he's doing, I'm gonna learn from him, see if there's anything that I don't do that he
Well,
does that I could put into my repertoire so that if so when my opportunity comes, I can shine. And it's like, and that's when you have a situation like my Patriots dominate for 20 years, because even though other teams had way more talented players, it didn't show up at the most important time, and that was during the four quarters of the game. So
right.
so
Bring you can say all the right things in those press conferences, but until and if he holds out, he's not going to be anywhere near the team. If he's holding out, not playing, not show, he's not anywhere near the team. Now he's not building camaraderie. And even if he does come back, how many people really give a crap about him being there? I mean, yeah, maybe if he comes back week one, okay, fine. Maybe all is forgiven. Maybe they move past it a little faster. But if he doesn't come back week 6, week 7, right?
and
Now
and
it's the you've missed 3 whole months of this team building that you are supposed to be the leader of, and now you come in, now you think you're still this leader, and they don't understand how you lead. You don't understand how to lead them, and now you're going to disrupt chemistry. Now you're going to disrupt the flow of their game, win or lose. It might be good, might be bad. You don't know. So being there from the beginning is important.
yeah,
Really important.
and also not only that, but but getting a feel for the game,
Game speed,
which
stuff like that. Absolutely.
yeah, which
Just getting
will
hit.
we they don't really do that until the preseason games.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And
Playing preseason, just getting
but
hit the first couple of times, you go, okay, now I feel it. Now I'm back into it. Now I understand.
and really
My
that's
body
not
can start
enough.
responding.
Really that's not enough, especially seeing that that it's only like what 2 or 3 games, and you're not gonna play in most of it. So you go from maybe each week you get 2 series,
Yeah.
and as it goes forward, maybe you get 3 and 4 series and 5 and 6 to playing the whole game. I feel like that's one of the reasons why a lot of guys get hurt, because it's like you're I get that you're trying to protect them, but the only time that they're actually going to get what they're actually doing for the season is week one, and that's no good.
100%.
And that is especially for the money that they're asking for. Especially for because the fans don't deserve that. Before you ended up joining us on the show, me and Jay talked about this. It's like you, I get that they want to save them from injury and basically save their reputation, that they care about the players. I get that. The only problem is they don't start actually really getting back into the game field until week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. You can miss me with the preseason because most of them don't play the preseason. So you can't say that the preseason counts.
Right.
Because even if they get in, they be lucky if they play half a quarter, let alone a whole half. That's why the teams that don't follow that, like I know KC doesn't really follow that. And gee, I wonder why they're dominating, because they don't completely, they follow the rules, the new rules, but they don't completely follow. It's yeah, we ain't hitting all day, but yeah, we're gonna do some hitting. you know, we gonna do some hit. We will limit the amount of hitting, but we gonna do some hit.
I think that Kansas City has a a structure of there's so much time that they have with each other that the older players, I think, get a little more, they get to be more selective of when they get in for the hitting, when they get in for these things, being that they're older players. When you're first, second, third, fourth year, you don't get to pick and choose. You're just out there for all of it. And I think, yeah, like you said, Kansas City kind of bends those rules a little bit, makes it a little more, you know,
Ironically, Pittsburgh does too.
conversations that happen inside of Kansas City that is not from head coach, coaching staff, front office whatsoever, and it comes from the players themselves to go out there and do this on their own. I don't think that it's coming from the coaching staff at all. I don't think that the coaching Sandy Reid's coming up to you, a second year player, and going, well, we're going to skirt the rules a little bit. We're going to add an extra couple of pads of practice and hitting, here and there when eyes aren't looking. I don't think he's doing that. I think that he's putting the onus on it, and the veteran players are picking up on it and going, hey, we need to go do some pad practice over here. Let's get going, and organize that on their own.
However, it's happening. It's
Yep.
happening, and it's funny. The teams that are dominating the playoffs are the ones that are kind of doing it.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Um, um, uh,
It is a way that can work. I don't think it's the only way that it does work, but I think it's a way that it can work. So,
and it also shows up week one because because you kind of get a feel
sure.
for the chemistry of it all. Who's not who's like who's dialed in. They look more dialed in. The chemistry is better.
Sure.
The timing is better on everything. But with that, we're gonna move on to Shador Sanders.
Uh,
So I did not get to
sure.
watch the game. I did not get to watch the game.
Not watch
But
next goat play, but I heard that they're going to retire his number in Cleveland this week.
I saw that. I saw that, and yeah, we're not talking about that. That's just
It's
more. That's
that's
just
fine.
that's just more questionable decision making, in my opinion. It's
They're not
like,
doing that.
wait, no, come on. And you're not going to tell me you're doing that because of what he's showing you against the fourth stringers. If we're doing that, then I need you to do that for every team,
I
and I
believe
need you to
I
go
believe I believe I pulled that from the Babylon Bee, so it was definitely satire.
right. But I saw it too because there was a couple of times that I
Uh,
would like open a new page so I could
yeah,
look up something, and I saw it, and I was like, you know what? I'm not even going for this. Um,
I have one thing to say, and it. Can you read that? It says, "Dear Cleveland, stay calm. It's okay. He's not the Messiah yet. It's not the second coming of Bernie Kosar. You're gonna be fine. He's not."
so, but
He
here's the
did
thing.
fine. He did fine. He was fine. It
You
was it was an average performance from a rookie fifth rounder, right? Sixth round,
Yeah,
fifth
fifth
round, right?
rounder.
Okay. I mean, did you expect him to go out there and just absolutely torch everybody? I mean, if you expected him to throw for more than for 200 plus and 4 touchdowns, in this what quarter and a half that he played, like okay, he played fine. He played like he was supposed to. Great.
Supposedly, from what I was hearing all morning on the ESPN shows, he played through the third quarter.
He started the game and went through the third.
Yeah,
Started, did he? I thought. Oh, what's his bucket? The other guy. Not Flacco. The Mason Rudolph. Or Rudolph.
Mason
not Rudolph.
Huntley,
What's that?
Huntley.
Huntley. Yeah, I thought Huntley started.
Oh, the
I don't.
way the way they were talking this morning,
know.
he started and he played through the third quarter.
Okay. If he played 3 quarters, then no, he didn't play fine. If he
Right.
played 3 quarters, I thought he only played for a quarter. I thought he played like these look like quarter, maybe 2 quarters. You know, if he
I'm
played
tr- I'm
third,
tr- yeah, I'm trying to look at it to
but it's
see
like
if I
bad.
could tell
So
how long he played.
let's look
Um,
because that's not good. Um, look.
but 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 here's the thing: the things that I liked, as I said last week, I'm slowly coming around to Shador, although I didn't like hearing that he did some type of come out and he had an entourage holding a boom box and he had a couple of front office people walking out with him and he had on the legendary chain and so for what he did
Okay, so he
for
played for 14 minutes, is what
okay
Google is telling me. Telling me he played for 14 minutes. So, yeah, 1 quarter. So he played a quarter. So,
okay
reflective of a quarter. So he probably spanned 2 quarters. He probably went in end of one through halfway through the second, or whatever the next quarter was. So then his stats are fine. I mean, he had 14 for 23, 138, 2 touchdowns. Those are fine stats for who he is, where he came from, his performance prior, and it showed you that your evaluation of his talent was right on because guess what? It's what he did. It's what he did in college. What did he do in college? He was efficient. He played fine. He wasn't. He wasn't this amazing, destroy all defenses that came before him, make struggle here and there. It
he
was.
wasn't a swag
I'm going to help my team win, but I'm not going to be the reason they lose.
he was lights out in the SWAC conference but once he
I mean,
stepped
yeah,
up to
Mountain West. I mean, they he played the Mountain West, and then he was mediocre in the Big 12 when they finally played competition in the Big 12. They got waxed most of the time.
well, yeah, because and even in that
So
situation, they had only played one top ranked team and they lost to that top ranked team.
yeah,
And
played
obviously
up.
Oklahoma and
Oh,
Texas Tech had already left.
yeah.
They were there when he was in the Pac-12. I was at work having a conversation with this guy, and this is how bad that pack that first year at Colorado was. This guy trying to argue in Ishidor's favor had no clue that before Colorado was in the Big 12, they were in the Pac-12.
Well, they were in the
He,
Mountain West.
huh?
They were in the Mountain West. So I think they went. Pac-12 to Mountain West. Pretty sure.
Well, no, because he only played 4 years. Man, I got to go back and look.
So in no, you're right. You're right. I apologize. You're right. They were well.
Trust me, they went 1-8.
That's what it was. I apologize.
They went they
Big
went
12 back to Big 12. I thought they had a Mountain West stint in there. I apologize. You're right.
no. You're good. I watched most of that year. They went
They,
1-8.
oh, they were bad in the Pac-12. They were bad.
But part of that was the NIL and Dion came in and he saw a lot of stuff he didn't like and he cleaned house. And then there was people that weren't happy with how he was running things. So then they were leaving and there was a whole lot of dysfunction. The line wasn't that great.
Yeah.
It wasn't pretty, but
Right. No.
but at the end of the day, matter of fact, it was so not pretty that they gave him kudos for beating TCU, who only brought back 2 starters.
Right. They had to give him,
And that was the first game of the year. And I'm laughing at my TV screen like, dude,
he's
yeah,
bad. Bad.
they
Colorado's not good, man.
okay, they beat TCU. They beat a team that didn't bring back most of their starters from the championship team that got smacked by Georgia because
They
the
got,
NCAA finally gave them what they wanted.
that was
They finally gave the fans what they wanted. You guys keep arguing TCU. We're going to give you TCU. And what happened? Exactly what the NCAA thought was going to happen. That's why they didn't let them in before. You have to be a correct. You analyze your team. Analyze your team. Analyze what level they are. That's why me as a person, you can disagree with me all you want, but when I turn out to be right, then I need you to explain it. Because I explained to you exactly why I felt some kind of way. This is why I'm never shocked that UC doesn't go that far. That's why I'm not shocked that Xavier doesn't go that far.
Are you talking in the tournaments?
Yeah, well, in the tournaments,
Shocks about UC is that they play. They'll through this regular season they play, and you'll see them play these tough teams really tough. And if they lose, they might lose by 2 or 4 or something like that. But it's a close game when they play really really tough opponents. And then they get into their postseason tournament. And I'm not talking the NCAA's. I'm talking this year would have been Big 12 or the Conference USA tournament or the American or whatever. And they stumble over the lowest ranked team. And okay, fine, they might win, but they look like garbage. That's the part that surprises me. It's not that they lose. It's not that they don't make it far in the NCAA's. That never bothered. That never surprises me with UC. What surprises me is that they can look like the most dominant team playing the top tier talent, and then when they get into their first round, game or the first game, because if they get a bye or whatever, they stumble, and they should.
It hits different in the tournament. No matter where you think
the NCAA is different than conference play, but conference tournament, you shouldn't be stumbling over your mid-tier and lower teams that just fell into the tournament after losing 7 straight. Like they lose their last 7-9 walking into the tournament, and then all of a sudden UC can barely beat them. And you shouldn't be having a problem with this team. They lost 7 of 9 by a 14-point differential. You shouldn't be stumbling over this, and they are. And that's the part that surprises me and frustrates me as a UC fan is what they stumble over. Not that they stumble, it's what they're stumbling.
Because of their pattern of history that you were just talking about, that's why I still root for them. But
absolutely.
I'm never surprised. I'm never surprised by what I see, and it's like oh.
If they make it to the second week of the tournament, the third round of the tournament, we are celebrating and drunk until next year. It's great. As a UC fan, you stay drunk on that until football season starts, and then you start drinking because of football season, and that hurts your liver. So
right. So, but back to Shedeur. I like how he's analyzing himself. I like, and the reason why I like it is because I feel like even though he had the 2 issues that kind of question his judgment,
yes,
in terms of his accountability for how he played the game, I like it because it points to the fact that if he does it right, he can become something of what the hype train. He can match the hype train.
Oh, I don't know if he'll ever catch the hype train. I don't think he will ever catch the hype that was put out for him, and it's not his fault necessarily.
If you put him behind a better offensive line,
and here's the thing, and here's the reason why. It has nothing to do with his skills, abilities, or lack of skills and inabilities. It has everything to do with the fact that he was hyped up so much unfairly. he was not given an opportunity to allow his actions to speak for the hype. He had to let his actions be ignored and focus on the hype, focus on the highlight reels, and only those, because that's what you had to focus on. You couldn't look at the box score, you couldn't look at his struggles because it didn't match. You go,
And
wow,
and
this is really
because
bad.
if you
Like, okay,
if you
now I
look,
got to interview this kid and figure it out, and that's where your problem comes in. Is he had apparently such a disastrous interview with Dable and the Giants
right.
that they didn't want anything to do with him. Not even. I mean, they passed him up in rounds and rounds and rounds and rounds. Like they wanted nothing. Even I doubt they would have even taken him as Mr. Irrelevant in the draft if he was still there. I doubt the Giants would have taken him. Like
No,
that. I
no,
think
they
how
wouldn't have.
they did. And I
They
think that,
wouldn't have. And
like you said, I think there. You said this in the past shows was there. Dion knows somebody in Cleveland. Cleveland was not going to pass him up because Dion was demanding that they take him, and this guy said, "Okay, I'll take
no,
him."
no, 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 no. I don't think Dion demanded it. I think Haslam did it because they were friends.
Okay, so okay, I apologize. Then I spoke wrong. I apologize, but yeah, either way, they took him because he knew him. That's fine. There was a connection there with Dion. Haslam knew him, took him, said, "Okay, I'm going to do this,"
But
and
and
a little more embarrassment, make him save a little face, and we'll get there. But
and
if Shador ignores everything that was hyped about him before walking into the NFL, humbles himself, and allows his natural ability to actually show through, so that way talent evaluators and scouts and people on that team can get to him, go, okay, hey, this, you do this, excellent, love this, your mobility on the rollouts is awesome. We're gonna use that while we develop this for you, because this is a little shaky. Let's develop this, make you more sturdy here. Let's polish this edge over here. Let's develop this over here. And you can't do that if he has that big of an ego. And if the Browns allow it to continue to happen, because that's the other thing. It's one thing for the player to have this massive ego and all of these things off the field that hit the door and stay there. It's the Browns that don't set that boundary and allow that stuff to come in and say, oh yeah, you can have this, that, and the other going on. It's who cares, it's giant party, whatever you want to do, right? And they go, and you go, well, no wonder he's not the polished guy you want. No wonder he's still making this routine mistake over and over and over and over again, because you're not getting to him. Your coaches aren't getting through to him because his hype machine is so loud and he's never going to catch him, because his hype machine is first round #1 overall pick, and it's so far out in front of him.
yeah, but
and he can't catch it.
First round compared to what? Like we've talked about, first round compared to what?
First overall pick, no matter what. Like that is what his going into the NFL draft. You heard Shador Sanders' name in the mix, #1 overall pick.
I know.
Not.
I know. You heard it. You heard it.
Hype.
As soon as they got to Colorado, you heard it and you heard it and you heard it. And I watched it and I watched it. And I'm like, yeah, there's some talent there, but not as much as they hyping it up to be. No.
Right. But if you don't stop that, if the Browns don't get a hold of him and let that train, hey, you know what? That was college, man. That was you coming out of college, and that is not what you are. You are a 5th round pick. Let us develop you. Let us get you the pros that know what's going on and can turn you into a pro quarterback. Yeah, your dad might have been an amazing player, but he wasn't a quarterback.
And I think I think since he's gotten to Cleveland, I think he's starting to do that.
I hope so.
It's starting to show a little bit, especially especially when he has a mic in front of his face. I also like the fact that he's told his dad, I love you. I will call you on the phone. Don't come to Cleveland. I'm feeling that. And
some of his comments, and I appreciate that he is speaking for himself, which is great. He's not he's definitely gotten a lot better with that. I think that's a wonderful thing for him, and I hope he does well. Yeah, okay, fine. I'm a Cincinnati Bengals fan, but that doesn't mean that I want this kid to be absolute garbage. I think that if he turns out to be a bust, it needs to be on his own merit, and you can't, and you need to separate it. If he's making the conscious and effort to get away from the hype that was built around him for the draft, that his dad built around him on draft day and
Yeah.
leading up to draft day, if he's making the real effort to break away from that, that's not who I am. That's not what I want.
I am confident, but
Right.
I
I'm
also am willing
my
to do the
ability.
work.
I don't care that
That's
I got taken in the 5th round. I'm going to come out here and perform. But I'm going to show you that I belong here based on the skills that I'm learning and the skill that I'm going to show you on the field. And he breaks away from that flashy, hey, you're going to pick me because because I have a good hype man, and as opposed to, hey, you're gonna love me because I'm a great quarterback and a great asset. I hope he
right.
does.
Yeah, me too.
And if he
I'm
I
loving this
could
trajectory.
pull off that.
Yeah.
So I don't want to,
So
because people go, well, you're not better than the number, Michael Penix Jr. You're not better than oh, what's his name? Who was the first pick overall? Who was the
Caleb.
first quarterback taken?
Oh, Cam Ward.
Yeah, you're not better than Cam Ward, so you're not any good. It's like, okay, fine.
That's and that's another thing. Speaking of Cam Ward, that's another thing that told you that that draft class was not great. Usually, when somebody does something like only he went into the bowl game just to pad his stats, and then he didn't finish the game, and Miami lost. If any other years prior to last year, if you
I
had
would have
done
jumped.
that and you were supposed to be high in the draft, you dropped.
Yep. You would have lost a few spots depending on what that was. Absolutely. I mean, look at the guys that sit out now for meaningless bowl games because they don't care. Because okay, yeah, while it might hurt my status with the Seattle Seahawks, I don't care. I don't care that the Seattle Seahawks don't like that I didn't play in the bowl game. The Las Vegas Raiders do like me, and the Arizona Cardinals do like me, and they all pick before the Seattle Seahawks, so I don't care. You know what I mean? Like they just don't. Most players just don't care anymore. And it's like if you're not playing for a national title, it doesn't matter. And it's like, okay, yeah, to an extent, I understand where you're like, especially if maybe you're an injury risk. Okay, I understand it. But with
if
the NIL
if
money,
you're off the field risk is starting to become more and more as
off
they're
the field
being
risk becomes
forced
crazy.
to pay more and more money and people are getting mad and it's like why are you getting mad if he's doing off the field stuff that keeps him at from being at the game where you want to see him where he would help the team. Why is that a problem? Why are you not? And that's where I always go back to why aren't the fans being real? You want to hold the refs accountable. You want to hold the coaches 100% accountable. You want to hold the front office 100% accountable for reasons that I think we've covered the reason
Yeah,
enough today. So I'm gonna stay away from it. But in terms of actually holding the player accountable when they're
yeah,
committing the hold, when they're committing the pass interference, when they're
absolutely.
dropping too many balls,
It goes both
unless
ways. Absolutely.
you don't like the player for whatever reason, you ain't calling them out. If you like the player, then you find every other reason that of what's going on other than
Sure.
holding that player accountable.
Well, you hold the
And
player accountable, but you also got to hold the referee accountable as well. There's a lot of things you can hold accountable.
well, no. You
If the ref
do,
blatantly
but
call and the play is made and the ref misses the call, then you hold both of them accountable.
but
You can't do that.
right. But here's the problem. When you can't call every call because you got to worry about your bosses coming down on you because fans are complaining. Like I said, and this became a thing. This is the sad part. This literally became a thing.
Yeah.
Where people were complaining to the NFL, like why? What they were complaining online. They were complaining however they could complain. Well, I got to get up early in the morning to tell these refs to stop calling so many calls. Why are they calling the call? They ain't calling the call just because they want to. They're calling the call because it happened. And if it happened, that's not on the ref. That's on the player. And I'm with you that they should both be held accountable. But the problem is they get held accountable for so much stuff that they don't have an actual lane. They don't have one lane. They've been given 4 lanes and they better get it right. You're not getting 4 lanes right, especially when two of them is, especially when two of the lanes is oh you call somebody that you call something that somebody thought you shouldn't have called, whether it be the player, whether it be the fan, which means that you called it against the home team. You would have rather them only called it against the visiting team.
I want them to call it when it's necessary. I want them to call it. That's what I care about, regardless of who. Because here's the thing.
Unfortunately, we
Call
are
it
not.
against
Me and you are not.
if you
We're
call
not the
it,
majority, though.
you're gonna call it against the visitors, and that's fine. Because I am all for the best team in a fair game. Who wins? The best team wins in a fair game, and that's fine. If I can come out of that game and go, oh, okay, well there was a lot of holding, yeah, but they didn't call it on either way. Okay, they didn't call holding either way. Okay, fine. Oh, there's a lot of pass interference. Yeah, but you didn't call it either way because the home team did some, visitor team did some, and no,
they
okay,
don't. They don't call it as much as they should.
all right. Call it even, call it fair. If you're not going to call it, then don't call it for either side. But you can't when the game is analyzed and you go, oh, you called 25 penalties of pass interference, and I know that's a ton, just hypotheticals, right? So 25 penalties of pass interference against the home team or the visitor team, and you only called 6 against the home team. That's a huge disparity. And now I'm reviewing the tape, and there is 20 to 25 that you could have called on the home team, but you didn't. Why?
Right.
That's my problem.
Right.
The refs are not being held accountable for doing their job. And then the players need to be held accountable for not doing their job if they are getting called and penalized for it. Okay, now you hold the players accountable and you go, hey, guys, you can't do this. That's why you're getting penalties. So,
but then the coach gotta unless you Andy Reid or Mike Tomlin or somebody or ironically Nick Sirianni, you got to worry about did you hurt the players' feelings when you called them out? And it's like, wait, he's like, I'm trying to win games here.
That's a generational problem, man. That's
but it's been happening for years, though. You can't just call it generational. This has been happening for years. It's gotten worse with each generation, but this has technically been happening for years.
If a 22-year-old can't handle being called a sissy, then that's their problem. Not
no. In 2025, you cannot call anyone a sissy. You will hurt their feelings, and their feelings matter.
I don't give a crap. You know what? You've been called way worse than that, and I've been called way worse than that. You've been called worse things than I've been called. So
Yep. Well, hey, we're keeping it a buck in 2025, man. You cannot unless they like you and fully agree with you. You cannot say it.
Look, when you were in your 20s, okay, when you were 22, and the worst thing, if the worst thing in your day that you were called was a sissy, you had a good day, right? You're like, whoa, I must not run into my friends.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
My friends so much worse on a daily basis.
Right. But you know that's part of it. You get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But we've had fun with this. Bottom line, at the end of the day, Jerry needs to, while I get that he's a businessman and that's his business, unfortunately, because of the way he's doing things, that's what's making him look worse. If he was at least talking to the agent, then I don't then that's a different conversation. It's
sure.
But at the end of the day, he's in a stuck situation because, as we talked about, you keep paying certain players and not leaving room where you can spread some of that and try to bring in some decent role players so that everything will gel on both sides of the ball.
Right.
You basically screwing yourself, just like with your Bengals.
Understood.
You pay Trey. How's that going to help the offensive line? We already know from the past 2 years that him playing at his best does not help the entire defense. So whether you want to blame Amarulo and his difficult, because apparently after he got fired, they said that the reason why the players had problems with the way he ran the defense was how difficult the difficult the level of difficulty of the scheme. I heard that about a couple of weeks ago when they were talking about the Bengals, and his name came up.
I think with Lou's defense, it wasn't that it was a bad defense. I think that he was just trying to be. I think he outsmarted himself. I think that he went,
He
oh
outsmarted the players apparently.
yeah, and he made it more complicated than it needed to be. And I think that he just went down that rabbit hole. And some players understood it, knew how to play it, and others went, why does it have to be so damn complicated? I don't understand why it needs to be this way. I don't understand.
You're in the NFL. Why is that a question? I mean, but nah, potato, right? All
Right.
right.
All right.
So
My
with that,
I have one final thought. I just want to say again, congratulations to Colin Kaepernick and his wife for the birth of their kid. It's amazing. It's awesome. I love being a dad myself. So hopefully everything goes well and they're happy and healthy, man.
all right. And basically what we're gonna do, we're just gonna do the top 10, obviously, because it's getting pretty late and you got
All right,
family
done.
and
We're not done. I got to stay talking to you for longer.
we didn't do the wide receiver rankings, top
Why?
10. We'll run it, run through it real
Okay,
quick.
hold on.
PFF,
Receivers. Yeah,
agree or disagree,
Weber.
who would you move around
Who would I move around where?
on the
The Pro Football Focus?
yeah, on the wide receiver.
Look,
Number one is AJ Brown. Number two is Justin Jefferson. Number three is Jamar Chase. Number four is Amon St. Brown. Number five is Puka. Number six is CD. Number seven is Nico. Number eight is Tyreek. Number nine is Mike Evans, and number 10 is Terry McLaurin. Do you agree with the list? Is there anybody you would move around?
only person that I would probably start dropping. I would move Justin. I think I might move Justin Jefferson ahead of AJ Brown, and it has nothing to do with other than I just like the color of their uniform better.
Dude, stop. That's not a reason. What is that?
1, 2, and 3 are great. If you want to move Jamar Chase to the top because he was the Triple Crown guy last year, okay, fine.
Yeah.
I argue there. If you want to, any one of those top three, great. I think it's 1A, 1B. You know what I mean? Like it's 1A, 1B with those three.
I know for sure somebody I would move.
All St. Brown. I like where they have him at 4. I think that's a great. I think he's almost ready to crack into that, making that number one spot a 4-way tie. I think another year or two, and I think if AJ Brown starts falling off, because I don't think Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase are ever going to fall off. They're just going to stop. Like Justin Jamar Chase are just going to end. I don't think they're going to fall off, and I think AJ Brown's going to fall off and change how he plays. And he's going to turn from this number one prolific, amazing wide receiver that everybody should want to have on their team to a possession guy, route runner, precise, I'm going to limit catches, things like that, contributor, but not your star, right? I think that's the way AJ Brown's going to go eventually.
Yeah.
Not soon, but eventually I think that's the way he's going to end up going, which
I think if they really are upfront about the way they run that offense, that's what's Saquon is going to be what causes them to fall off, not necessarily his talent.
I'd like to say, I honestly think Garrett Wilson's going to be much better. I think that Tyreek Hill, with the fact that he's in Miami, is I think
He could
okay.
he could stay in the top 10 for me, but I'm sorry, he's 10.
Yeah, he's 10. CD Lamb's the same way. It's because of the offense that they're in. I just can't put them that high.
Well,
It was the same way.
I
Think that while he's going to be the only and primary target in Los Angeles, I don't think that Matt Stafford is that prolific anymore that he's going to make that relevant.
well,
I think Mike Evans is a much better wide receiver. I think Mike Evans should be that 6-7 range. I like Nico Collins at the 5. Um, Drake London, Malik Neighbor. I think Garrett Wilson makes it to 10, maybe 9, just based on what I think can happen. Like it's
where
kind
will Tariq end up? Because in my opinion, Tariq should fall to 10.
Tyreek should be 10, 11, somewhere in that range, sure.
And
I think CD Lamb to 10. I think I put Puka at 9 and Tyreek falls just out at 11.
I'm cool with Puka at 5. CD because of what he did, especially because of what he did, because he held out, and out of everybody that held out, like I said earlier, only him and Trent Williams showed up from week 1 on. And I just shook my head, like, and this is another reason why owners balk when it comes to paying every single player, because just like with the running backs, they stopped paying the running backs for a while. Why? Because of the following people: Matt Forte, Chris Johnson, Le'Veon Bell after he left the Steelers. But mainly it was those first 2 that I mentioned, because they held out for their money, and then they ended up hurt, which ended up screwing their teams, which were at the time the Titans and the Bears.
Yeah.
And Matt Forte, that was the straw that broke the camel's back, and after that, running backs couldn't get paid anymore, and they were pissed, and it was like, dude,
Le'Veon Bell really screwed running backs hard. He held out, sat out an entire year, got paid by the Jets, and played like crap.
Yeah.
He really hurt them a lot. So looking through the list, the only one that I don't, so they have it broken up into tiers, right? So second tier, they have Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, and Puka Nacua all in the second tier. I don't think that they all make it into that second tier. I don't think any of them actually make it into the second tier. I think Mike Evans, Terry McLaurin, and Garrett Wilson all should be in the second tier. And then we put all 3, Puka Nacua, CeeDee Lamb, and Tyreek Hill in the tier 3.
I like,
but that's
Garrett.
Not 10.
I like Garrett Wilson.
T. Higgins being 14. But I understand how you get him to 14, because he's your 2 behind arguably the best wide receiver in the game, right? So I understand.
Arguably, yeah.
Okay, I understand why T. Higgins makes it down that far. I think that he's going to end up, statistically wise, in the top 10.
He better.
And the only reason that he wouldn't is because the Bengals tight ends contribute more than they should.
Yeah, they do.
That's the only reason that I can see it, but I see why T. Higgins is behind Garrett Wilson. I don't understand why Garrett Wilson is behind Malik Neighbors and Drake London. I'm sorry. Like, neither one of them are going to have a good year. Like Drake London has a complete unknown throwing in Michael Penix. And then if Michael Penix goes out, you go back to the disgruntled Kirk Cousins. I'm sorry, I just don't see it. I don't see Drake London having this top 15 year. I don't see Malik Neighbors having a top 15 year, because who's whipping the ball at him? Russell Wilson? Okay.
Russell Wilson can do it. He's just one of those, as I talked about last week. He's line dependent.
Yeah. And New York is, I mean, they got Daniel Jones murdered. So
Yeah, yeah, and so
Daniel
so
Jones is more mobile than Russ Wilson is right now.
oh, for sure.
Yeah,
But
Jones was way more mobile, and he still got him murdered. So I have zero faith that I don't think that either one. I don't think either one, Drake London or Malik Neighbors. I almost believe that they might not even be in the top 20 when it comes to the end of the year. When it comes to stats, they
well,
might.
according to some of the pundits, there are a few of the pundits that believe that this is Atlanta's year to take the
Oh,
division. So
what else
so,
they
huh?
have?
Because of Penix, because of how Penix performed the latter part of the season when they
Is
put him in.
Penix going to all of a sudden make their tight end catch the damn ball, run back? He, no, he's a. I mean, forget his name. He's such a bust. Oh, so bad. He's so bad. He's still on the team. I'd give him more credit if they kicked him off the team. He's on his rookie contract. Cut his ass. Go get yourself a
Now. We talked about that. People under rookie contracts aren't getting cut. So,
oh,
yep.
he's not good. I think they undervalued Mike Evans this year. I'm sorry. When you get over a grand for 11 straight years and you're only ninth, I think he's extremely undervalued.
That's why I said I would be cool with him. I would be cool. I would be cool with him being anywhere from.
I think he's going to be 5. I put him at 5. I'll put Mike Evans up 5. I'll go as high as 5 for Mike Evans because I think he's going to have not just 1,000. I think he's going to have 12 or 1,300 yards.
Even though Amon St. Brown is like the lifesaver of the Detroit Lions,
It's not
I wouldn't mind putting Evans at 4.
okay. That doesn't bother me either. The only reason I keep Amon St. Brown that high is because of his quarterback. It's because of who's throwing him the ball and the Lions.
And he bails him out.
To have faith in Goff's ability to just throw the ball 60 times a game. And they love it. And they don't have to because they still have Jahmyr Gibbs, and he's going to be a top 10 running back. But I think that with their infatuation with Goff's arm and decision making, Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to be top tier pass catcher this year. I think Mike Evans I think Tampa's window is starting to close. Like I really do, because I
don't know.
Baker is good, and I think Baker has a lot of upside. But I also feel like there's only so much gas you can put in that tank with the way that he plays. And
I definitely feel like they should be trying to implement the run game more.
Absolutely. They need to do something because, like I said, if they keep it the way it is, your window is closing. Now, if they're going to start changing and they're going to start implementing new things and helping Baker not have to be Baker all the time, right? You help Baker not have to be Baker and, find some ass way to destroy his body and win the game.
That also starts with the line too, because he's also line dependent.
Right. He is, but I think he's less line dependent than Wilson is.
Yes. I could go for that. Yeah.
I think he's tougher than Russell Wilson. I think he's one of the toughest guys to play. He gets the royal crap kicked out of him every game.
Yeah, but you got to remember after them Super Bowl years.
And I'm only saying that because Russ is older. That's the only reason I'm saying he's not as tough as Baker is because he's older.
Okay.
Now, if you compare their years, like age-wise, like I would say, Russell Wilson's a pretty tough.
Especially remember after the Super Bowl years, that line was crap. So he got killed until they kicked him out.
I'm not saying Russell Wilson in his age 35 season wasn't tough. What I'm saying is not in 32, 33, 34, 35 season, and he's older. He's not as tough because he's older. That's the only thing I'm saying. That's it.
Okay, but
don't come up and beat me, Sierra's husband. I apologize. I'm so sorry.
Don't worry. People aren't happy with Russ, so you won't get canceled.
It's fine. I just don't need his wife to show up to beat me up. That's all I.
She gonna bring all of Atlanta. You better watch
I know
out.
what bring, but I'm afraid of it. I'm more afraid of her than him. I'll tell you that.
Like I said, she gonna bring all of Atlanta. Um,
But I
but
like. I just like looking down. It's just like none of these receivers pass when you get past like T. Higgins. Go, oh, man, these guys need to be higher, or these guys need to be lower. It's just like Devonta Smith. I think might need to be a little bit higher, and I think he is. I think he's stuck because of who he's behind. I think if he was on another team and they're number one, I think he might be. I think he might be crouching in that tier two, tier right at that cusp of tier three, tier two range. Because I has the talent to do it. He just doesn't need the talent to do it because of who he's playing with and where he is.
okay. I just looked farther down and I seen somebody that um I seen a couple of people. Well, no, I seen one that I have an issue with him being so far down.
Who's that?
And Jigba. And Jigba to me is Amon St. Brown of Seattle. He bails the quarterback out. He's looking for something downfield, can't find it. Here comes Njigba across the middle, or Njigba might be the one open going downfield. Like I said, to me, he what Amon St. Brown is to golf in Detroit. That's what Njigba is to whoever the quarterback is. That's why it's going to be very important that him and Sam Darnold get a rapport, especially with Metcalf being gone and Lockett being gone, because now other and Jigba, I believe, will be like the oldest man. He's like the veteran now.
Uh,
I don't. I,
yeah. So for me with Njigba now, okay. Here's the question though: is Sam Darnold better than Geno Smith?
Ah, they're both line dependent. They both crack under pressure because they're so line dependent. The only thing that you have to go by is performance
Yeah.
in terms of winning, and that that gives Sam Darnold a slight edge. I mean,
Right. Well,
obviously,
the thing I look at, and what makes me say Sam Darnold's a better quarterback for the situation that he's going into Seattle, where he has a number one wide receiver that he knows is your number one wide receiver, and that when you throw it to them, they're going to catch the darn. That's what he had in Minnesota. When he threw that ball, who did he throw it to?
he threw it to Jefferson. He threw it to Addison. He threw
No,
it to
who I'm referring to is Justin Jefferson. He throws it to Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson's going to do everything in his power to come down with that ball.
yeah.
As accurate as it is, or as inaccurate as it is, he's going to go up and get it. He's going to do his best to go get it. Jackson Smith-Njigba is the same kind of wide receiver. Now, talent-wise, I'm not saying that he's equal to Justin Jefferson at all. What I'm saying
Right.
is that when you throw the ball at Njigba, he's going to go after the ball, and he's going to come down with it. Even if it's a 50-50 ball, if he's wide open, the only thing that he's really struggled with is one-on-one press coverage, where he didn't get open as often as he should have. But it's something that you work on. And I think
that's usually when he was going deep.
right. But like you said, he had to deal with not being the number one wide receiver out there or the only wide receiver out there last year.
Well,
right?
now Metcalf and them were Metcalf and Lockett were out there, but they usually
Right.
sent them deep, and they basically and usually defenses made sure that they had Lockett and Metcalf covered, because you had to double Metcalf and and uh and I believe they kind of zone covered Lockett, which left him free to roam, and because you can't cover everybody. So,
but they still didn't win, so they moved on.
right.
And you're going to see how not good of a wide receiver DK Metcalf is this year, and in terms of production and being the reason they win or lose. I think that him being in Pittsburgh is not good for him. I think he is going. You're going to see him, and he's going to play, and he's going to have some highlight catches. But I think overall, he's not going to be the reason they win. And when they aren't winning, he's going to be the most outspoken one about the reasons why he thinks they're not. And it's not going to be him. Just like it wasn't Pickens. Just like it wasn't Antonio Brown. Just like it wasn't any other.
Actually, no, it was Pickens.
But
But
you know, George Pickens say that.
well, no, because accountability is an issue for people, and it sucks. That's why when you do hear players being accountable,
Fresh air.
yes, and so yeah, but yeah, other than that, if Godwin hadn't gotten hurt last year, I would want him higher. I kind of feel like Devontae could be up a few more spots. So then the question is like who would you move?
Devontae Adams for me can free fall because he has to prove that he still has it.
Which may be a problem because Stafford's back. He hasn't even been participating in anything. So that may be what kills Los Angeles.
Yeah, old man Stafford. You mean Stafford's old and fragile and can't play?
Then the backup is Jimmy Garoppolo, Jimmy G.
Ugh. Oh, that hurts so much worse.
Hey,
man, Stafford on one leg, man.
Hey, as it was said, as it was said on one of the shows today, he led a team to the Super Bowl.
I mean, he was the quarterback for a team that was in the Super Bowl. Does that count? He didn't lead anybody anywhere. I mean, he led some models to his hotel room, but that's about it. He didn't lead the Niners anywhere, man.
It was all the coach.
Please. It was the circumstance, man. Everybody on that. It was a full team winning. It wasn't one guy. It wasn't like
the quarterback is the leader of the team, is he not?
Think about this for a second. Okay, go back in your mind. Go back in time.
Okay.
When Kansas City Chiefs were undefeated, right? And they had Dante Hall as their punt returner or their kick returner, and they were 9-0, right? Coming in to play the Bengals, right?
Yeah.
And the Bengals had upset them, right? Bengals beat them.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Do you remember what individual player did what in that game? Or do you remember that the Bengals beat them?
That they beat them.
Right. That's it. It's a team win. Now, give me a Super Bowl Tom Brady won that was with the Patriots. I don't care a number because the kicker won it for him. Kicker scored the last points, right? So people will tell you that Tom Brady didn't win those Super Bowls. He got them in a position and the kicker won it for him. True or not, that's a narrative. That's a narrative.
Bottom line, he got him there. He got him there. When you're arguing a player's greatness, they look for things and they try to take it away from him because you go, oh, well, this player did these things. Oh, this player did this for him. It's like, no, Tom Brady's great because he won a bunch. He was in 10 Super Bowls, won 7 of the damn things. And regardless of who Adam Vinatieri kicked the game winner for 2 of them and Gostkowski kicked 2, whatever the numbers were, whatever. Right.
Okay, fine. Tom Brady was the reason that they won those games. Tom Brady is the reason. Tom Brady's
because they had running backs. They didn't use them in a running back level situation other than Corey Dillon.
You look around and you go, Tom Brady's the reason they won those games.
Yeah.
You take Tom Brady out. The year that Tom Brady missed, right? And that's what made Matt Castle, right? How far did they go in the playoffs?
They didn't.
Bingo.
Because
So
they lost twice. Because they lost twice to Miami, and they lost to Baltimore, and Baltimore ended up and both teams ended up having a better record than them.
yep. So who's the difference?
Brady.
Bingo. Now, 49ers. Jim Harbaugh was your coach, and they went to the Super Bowl. Who was the quarterback?
Jimmy G.
Colin Kaepernick.
Oh, Colin Kaepernick. That one. Yeah.
Not 5 years later, they're back in the Super Bowl with what? A different head coach and a different quarterback. It's not the quarterback out there. It's the system. It's the defense. It's the role players. It's everybody playing together and finding the right role players, what they do best. Finding those one or two key players that are not the quarterback to make your team better than everybody else.
But don't the players still have to have some level of talent? It's not like it is.
I think if you take any top 15 quarterback in the league and put them on the 49ers that year, you're in the Super Bowl. Any starting top 15 quarterback.
And that is easy to say, but it's harder to make it happen.
It's harder to prove. It's impossible to prove. Yeah. But Jimmy G is not a top 10, top 8 quarterback. He was a top 15 quarterback. And that's what I'm saying, is his stats and skills, and you go, oh, okay, well, where does he fall? Okay, everybody above that obviously is probably a better quarterback. Now, he might not fit the system, and he might not do what Jimmy G did in the system, but that's not, so it's not because Jimmy G's a great quarterback, maybe because he's a good system guy. He might, you know what I mean? They build the system around him. He fits into the system. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying, is that while Jimmy is talented as he is, more talented than 99% of the players out there, because guess what? He's still in the NFL. He could still do it. He's better than I'll ever be.
Right.
I'm talking head on a TV screen, right? But he is not the answer, which is why he's no longer a starting quarterback, because they moved away from the system. Every starting job in the NFL went Jimmy G's system, the system he would thrive in. It's just not our system. We can't build around that system anymore, because either their talent's not there or the money's not there that we would need to invest into that system to have him be our starter and be successful. Whatever it is, the NFL, his system, he starts, and his system that he fits in and would start in is back. So I can guarantee that the Rams are now installing stuff that works, that he can do. He's not going to be doing the same playbook that Patrick's doing. Yeah, there's some elements that are the same, but yeah,
that would be the smart thing to do. That would be the smart thing to do, period, though, because and I think this is where a lot of teams kind of get into trouble, because I feel like they try to get like if the starter gets hurt, they try to get the backup to basically run.
So Jake Browning is a great example, right? When Joe Burrow went down 2 years ago, and Jake Browning finished out the year, right? Played really great. And the reason is because,
unless it was against Pittsburgh.
Well, yeah. But if you look at the system that they had him running, it wasn't Joe Burrow's plays.
Right.
Because he doesn't have arm talent. He doesnn't have the Joe Burrow. He's not Joe Burrow. Jake Browning. Fine. So let's play football the way Jake Browning plays football. What do you do well? What don't you do well? Let's eliminate the stuff you don't do well. Let's focus on these 25 plays that you know by heart, 100% know you can perform in. And if we have to run the same 10 plays all game, guess what? We're going to run the same 10 plays all game, because that's what and that happens. And that's what you have to do with the quarterback. Now, if the Rams were smart, because they know, okay, Stafford's going to be limited. Is he on the PUP list? Has Stafford been put on the PUP list? So physically on the list. Okay. I'll bet he ends up on the PUP list, so they get a roster spot for him, and they can sign a garbage QB for their practice squad, just in case. And they install an offense that is Garoppolo friendly. that is Garoppolo focused and say, okay, what does Garoppolo do really well? What is he comfortable doing? And they're going to include him in all these decisions. They're going to give him that space that he needs to feel comfortable. So when he goes out there and takes the field as the starter week 1, because he's going to be, and it's not because of Matt Stafford not being good enough. He didn't outplay Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford's injured. It's now the Jimmy G show until Matt Stafford can come back. And even then, Matt Stafford might only come back and he might only be 80%. So they might stick with, hey, it's a good system. Jimmy G system is a short passing game, with a couple maybe some seam routes and stuff like that are a little easier to hit, when he's rolling out of the pocket. So we use Jimmy G's athleticism a little bit more. And so maybe we keep, okay, we're not going to roll Stafford out. But if he steps up in the pocket, if he after his 5-step drop, he steps up 2 steps into the pocket, sees the seam route open, and he can dump it off just like Jimmy G would roll out, see that seam route coming open, and hit it just from a different angle. I mean, that might be something to keep in the playbook when Stafford is healthy enough to come back. I mean, the backup quarterback position is maybe the worst position in sports. Like, it's the most loved because everybody thinks that, like, you represent all the hope. If your team's in the garbage, you're like, well, hey, the backup quarterback's still there. He bring him in, give him a shot, right? And if it works, great, you're a hero. And if it doesn't, they're like, well, no wonder he was the backup. Like, you don't lose anything. You have everything to gain, nothing to lose if you're the backup quarterback. And and I'll tell you this is there, like, as I've gotten older and a sports fan and everything else. And as we're talking about sports, like, I find that I root less against players to play poorly unless they're a Steelers or Browns or the Ravens. Like, those are the 3 teams. I hope they all play piss poor. Those 3, they all can suck eggs. And then once they leave those teams, I hope they do well. Great. Awesome. While you're on those teams, suck eggs. You suck.
I can identify with that.
Right?
I'm,
like,
I'm cool. I'm cool with
useless pile of crap.
Yeah.
Now it's like, well, I hope he does well. Like, I hope he has a career, and he's great, do well out there, man.
Yeah, anybody that plays any of the teams that I like, I want you to be as successful as possible until you play my team, and then I need you to lose.
I need you to be terrible when you play my team.
that way, especially in college, that raises their stock. So
like, I understand. I want you to suck when you play Ohio.
Yeah. You see how great Ohio State was, and then they played Michigan, and Michigan beat them. Okay, all right, we're good.
And Michigan doesn't make the playoffs and doesn't win a national title again.
Well, I mean, even here's the one thing that you have to understand.
Okay.
Even if they don't make the playoff, we get some credit if we beat Ohio State. It pisses them off, and they wipe the floor with everybody they play.
I guess. I mean, it bothers me for that week, and that's it. Like, it bothers me for that. Like, okay, how did we do the rest of the year? Because here's the thing: is one loss to Michigan, okay, fine. You're still in the playoff. You're still gonna, whatever. You still have your opportunity.
Yeah, it's different.
Go win. If you play like garbage and you lose to Wisconsin and Purdue or Iowa and Michigan, then I'm pissed because you shouldn't have lost to those other teams. Michigan, I'll give you, because it's your rival. They're going to give you your best shot no matter how good or bad they are. That is always going to be your toughest game. I do not care if you're an Ohio State fan. Michigan is always going to give you your toughest game of the year every single year. And just like Michigan, if you're a Michigan, Ohio State is going to give you your toughest game. It's just the way it is. Now, sometimes it doesn't work out that way. Some years you get stopped 34-10, 47-7, whatever. I don't know the scores. I'm pretty sure Michigan has the all-time lead in the records. I'm pretty sure, but I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But if that's the only loss they have, okay, great. you know what, it bothers me for that week and that day, and I can or fans, we can have a good time about it. And it's that for me that is what sports is all about. Is us as fans, we can be bitter rivals for that week. Then that game happens, and we can talk shit all we want, and then what happens, and it's fun. And it's a great game. You know, this was awesome. That was great. You know, we can talk about it and be happy and fun. That's what I like about sports. Now that I've gotten older, when I was younger, man, sports ruined my life, man. It really. I'm so happy. I'm so much happier as a sports fan now than I was. So
there's been there's 62 and 52 in 6 ties. Michigan's got the lead by 10 games.
Okay. Oh, the last 5 didn't help. So,
dude, last year I felt like I was in the twilight zone.
10-7, is that what the game was, or 9-6? What was the score last year?
Oh crap!
Tiny score. It was like 10-7 or something stupid. Ohio State didn't score shit. It was a stupid, tiny scoring game. Like Ohio State should have ran over Michigan. Honestly, like with how
it was 13-10.
13-10. Yeah, that was
dude. Like I said, I was in the twilight zone. I took that day off work and I decided to watch that game, and I was confused.
Oh, I was so mad. I didn't watch it because I'm like, you know what? I forget what I was doing. I was somewhere and I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna watch it because I don't need to be mad today. Don't need to get mad.
Oh, you would have been mad.
I can't let that affect whatever it was I was doing. I was doing something. I don't remember what it was, but I just know that I wasn't anywhere that I could.
Oh God, I watched that game.
Happy about it, and when I saw the score, I went, "Are you fucking kidding? That's absolutely stupid." He lost by 3 points. Like, how can you just like? It's one thing to get outperformed. That's fine, but when you beat the crap out of yourself and score 10. Like, come on, man! You didn't even try to win.
Dude, it was a battle of the defenses, and Michigan's defense
against himself, man.
Well, yeah, that too. But
the Oregon game that ticked me off. I was down in Tennessee watching that.
But that was a good game. I understand you not liking the ending, but that was a good game.
Again, Will Howard ticked me off in that game too.
Yeah.
Didn't call a timeout correctly. Mismanaged clock, all that kind of stuff. Like, but guess what? It's a new year. Everybody's starting out 0-0. Let's go have some fun. I love watching football, man. It's awesome. I love watching college football because I'm off on Saturday. So I'm probably a bigger college football fan now. NFL, I do a lot of fantasy, but that's about it. That's
gotcha.
Watch catch the fantasy.
All right. Well, we have had an oh my God kind of
we did
kind of show.
Yeah, it was
and
awesome.
We were the topics were great. We even brought in other situations as great examples. I definitely feel like there was some progress made. I'm trying to get better on certain things. I definitely felt like the flow of everything was better. So
flow going, man. We have good.
Oh, for sure. So although I'm gonna text you because there was one issue. I'll text you what it was. But other than that, next 2 weeks you got us. It's me and Drew. Check out his
just come over to Facebook and everything, and just check out Facebook. I got all my links up over there, and Instagram and everything else is all off of there. Just you'll find me as the administrator on the United World Sports page, and
yeah, for sure. And I'm gonna
check
try
all the stuff from 0 Hour and Noble Ghost and Rock Rage Radio and all that kind of fun stuff. So
yeah, and I'm gonna try this week to get in some more appearances in the group. Hopefully we'll get more participation going so that we can really get this thing going. And I try to as always, when I'm talking about something, I try to always feel like I'm being fair. As me and you go back and forth about the referees, I always try to point out that everything, and I totally get where you're coming from. And I'm not saying that anything you said is wrong. You're completely right. But the problem is that that's not the way they're governed. Because you're right. They should be allowed, whether it's the fans, whether it's the front office, whether it's the players, they should be able to call the calls that are the right call. And if you don't want them to call the call, then don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't tell the cop not to arrest you and you just got caught robbing a bank again. It just,
Don't do it. Gun back and walk out of the bank.
Right. You know. But with that, Dante Suave, Drew, you guys have a great week. We'll see you next week.
Yep. Have a good night, guys.